Sometimes I wonder why I'm still working here. When I took the office manager position for the city of Pawnee, all I wanted to do was pay for my Mercedes-Benz. Now, separate from me donating to David Duke's campaign, this is the absolute worst decision I've ever made. We finally got our park finished. You think everybody would be happy, right? Not since last week. Leslie and April got into a fight at the ribbon cutting ceremony and ruined the whole thing. Yes, I said it. They ruined it. I saw this situation coming a mile away. But my only job around here is to mind my own business. They don't pay me enough to solve problems. That's Ron's job. He gets paid the big bucks. You figure he'd know more about clarifying roles, responsibilities, and managing conflict. But he doesn't know anything about that. Well, anyway, my break's almost over. I need to go back in the building. Oh, but by the way, if anybody asks you about this, you didn't hear it from me. I heard HR start a formal investigation. So, keep it quiet. And I'm not one to gossip anyway.
I love the smell of a new park in the morning and the afternoon and the night. Well, really anytime. So that's why I've been spending the night in the park ever since it was complete. Now I'm excited for the grand opening. I'm a little sad though it's come to an end, but also really happy. It's been a project of mine for years, but I'm really sad and happy. I don't know what I am. Anyways, Ron has given me carte blanche to plan the festivities, probably because of my success with the Harvest Festival. I mean, it was pretty awesome, right? Okay, well, he didn't really tell me to plan the event, but I mean, who else would? This is Pawnee, this is my city, I love it. And I mean, I'm sure he meant to ask me, but he was really busy, so I just went ahead and started planning. I have job duties for everybody. I have a binder with their name on it, all their job descriptions, and it should be not a problem for them to complete it in 2 days, right? Okay, so I'm so excited to announce that we probably have the most awesome surprise in the universe of surprises. None other than little Sebastian will be here. Woohoo!
What? Little Sebastian?
Okay, well maybe not little Sebastian, but a close second and a distant relative. Little Sebastian's younger brother's sister's mother's cousin, twice removed, little Tristan. So cute, right? Yeah, it's not the same. Oh well, I failed. Well, to open up the swimming pool, we have mega star Michael Phelps. The first rider at the skate park will be the legendary Tony Hawk. Detlef Schrempf will be doing basketball clinics, and Tom should be back from the airport by now with him. Oh, we have lions and tigers and beavers. Probably because the bears weren't available, some permitting issue. Anyway, Jerry's taking care of that. Remind me to check on Jerry when we're done here. And then we have all the other usual festivities. Ferris wheel, carnival games, petting zoo, face painting, clowns, stilt walkers, jugglers, bouncy houses, train rides, the deep fried Butter Brothers. We have candy from Sweetums. JJ's wasn't available, so we had to fly in waffles from Belgium. Oh, but should be okay. And I really want to spend the night in the park tonight, but I can't because of the perimeter they're setting up, because of the fireworks, the laser show, and the presidential motorcade. But that shouldn't be a problem. I'll just work all night. I'm going to start right now with a staff meeting. I can't wait. I'm so excited for the park grand opening.
I don't know why we're making such a big deal out of this park grand opening. Eagleton opens a new park like every other month, and no one makes a big deal out of it. But whatever. Ron wants me to work with Leslie to plan this grand opening, and I kind of have to since I've dodged every project since I started working here. 4 years ago. Leslie has this grand idea of having carnival rides, food and games, and even little Sebastian. Okay, that is a good idea. But besides that, it's such a waste of taxpayer money. If we wanted to waste money, we could just pay for me to go to Coachella. My idea is to have my boyfriend's band provide live entertainment. I'll set up a table with some games and some food, and Leslie could be in charge of the kids, because I hate kids. That way, we'll save money, everybody will have fun, and they'll remember the grand opening. So anyway, are we done here? Because I have to go plan things, like a grand opening.
Chris, here's the direction I specifically provided to April, the park program coordinator. I know she is quite capable of managing a simple community park opening. I told her that my expectations were the following. Contact the mayor's public affairs officer and ask them to attend a brief 10-minute ribbon cutting ceremony at the picnic party gazebo. Utilize 3 safety cones to reserve the parking spot closest to the gazebo for the mayor's caddy. As the park only has 15 parking stalls and 2 handicap stalls per code. Place a short advertisement through our local newsletter editor, inviting the local residents in Northeast Pawnee to attend the simple grand opening ceremony. Consult with Leslie, who has extensive experience in ceremonial events such as the Harvest Festival, and handling delicate situations with all the vendors, local businesses, community outreach programs, and environmental impact report requirements for ensuring protection of the Wamapoki Indian sacred burial sites, battles, ruins, and most importantly, land dedicated for future tribal casinos allowed under federal law. I made no attempt to engage Leslie despite her position as a park liaison. Leslie has numerous other events, including the annual Harvest Festival, the Wamapoki Indian Tribe Battle for Pawnee ceremony, the Independence Day celebration, the Easter extravaganza, and the Winter Wonderland Snow Festival. This park opening was a perfect opportunity to engage April's talents in a simple, small, and efficient opening ceremony for a local community park with a discretionary budget of $2,500, which is within the limit allowed without approval from the Board of Supervisors. I hired April as my coordinator in order to rein in Leslie's overspending on every event, which requires me to rub elbows with the city supervisors every time she spends more than I have budgeted for her events. I needed a fiscally conservative coordinator so that I didn't need to keep schmoozing the city leadership. I'm just not the social hugger assistant superintendent like my predecessor. I prefer to be the man, delegate authority, resolve any conflicts with a directive style of leadership, take swift corrective action against any contrary actions to my direction, and move on with my superintendent duties, which is primarily reading books about wartime heroes who exhibit charismatic leadership traits and rule with Machiavellian authority.
So the mayor asked me to step in as human resources manager, and I accepted it immediately because Pawnee is literally the greatest town in the country. I was asked to investigate a case with the Parks and Recreation Department, and the department just completed the most amazing parks project in the history of Pawnee. There is absolutely nothing that could go wrong with that, right? Wrong. Leslie Knope and April Ludgate had the most ugliest argument I have ever seen at the ribbon cutting ceremony. Leslie had planned the entire opening of this new park without collaborating with April, all because Leslie wanted to make it a big surprise for everyone. I am 100% sure that this is all Ron Swanson's fault. The rules were so ambiguous that Leslie had complete freedom to do whatever she wanted, all because Ron said so. Truly, April had no clue what her responsibilities were. And much of this conflict all arose all because of unclear work responsibilities. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta get to Ron, Leslie, and April and resolve this awfulness. As a facilitator in this, I'm going to establish some ground rules and allow everyone to express themselves positively and recognize their contributions to the ceremony and seek some common ground so that everyone can agree on what the rules are. And hopefully, everyone can come to a mutual agreement so that this never happens again.
One day, Leslie promised me when we first met that she would turn that stupid picnics in my house into a park. Well, it's taken years and a lot of hard work, but it's finally done, and it's time for the grand opening. Unfortunately for Leslie, Ron totally dropped the ball and didn't clearly define everyone's roles for planning the grand opening. He went and told April that she could plan everything because he wanted it to be a small event. Unfortunately, he never had a conversation with Leslie about it, and we all know how excited she was about it. So of course, April and Leslie had a huge blowout about the whole event, and it was the worst fight I've ever seen them have, and now poor Chris is having to manage their conflict. He doesn't know this, but I saw the HR report in Chris's office this morning, and I saw that Ron was found in violation for not applying task-oriented and people-oriented behaviors and clearly defining everyone's roles and responsibilities and managing conflict between Leslie and April. Luckily for Ron, it also listed what he should have done, which was mutually define job responsibilities, establish priorities among job responsibilities, and establish a scope of authority. Mutually set goals for each priority area, pay attention to the basics of goal setting theory, and pay close attention to the basics of information and learning theory. He would have addressed all of those by clearly defining job planning responsibilities for both Leslie and April. All he had to do was just split up the responsibilities and let them pick which ones they wanted to do. That way they both would have been happy because they would have been able to pick their responsibilities and they would have been included in the process. He could have also just given them a clear timeline for when everything needed to be done to make sure that everything was set in time for the event. You know, days like today made me really glad that I became a nurse. As nurses, our roles are clearly defined and we all know what our responsibilities are. So there's never ambiguity when a new patient comes in. That's not to say that we don't get stressed out, but our stress is usually due to crazy patients and not because we don't know what to do because our roles aren't defined. Luckily, my baby daddy Chris managed their conflict perfectly with a super positive attitude. So he was able to balance out Ron's ambiguity by defining event planning roles and identifying who takes on which roles for all future events. He included both Leslie and April in the defining of roles and got Leslie and April back on speaking terms by including them in the process and letting them pick roles that they actually like. I'm so lucky to have level-headed Chris as the father of my children, and Leslie is my best friend. Now I need to go find an extra special Galentine's present for her this year. Maybe I can find someone to make her the world's biggest waffles. We'll see. I might need some help with that though.